Hey everyone, what's going on? Last night I uploaded this video about the scripted shooting of David Ortiz in the Dominican Republic. And after I uploaded it, I figured I would listen to the video since I made just a 10-minute video while I was looking for some extra links to put in the description box that would make a little more sense with this video or so on. So I tried to find some sports videos and whatnot. And while I was listening to it, I got a notification on this video on my phone, and the notification just it mentioned how they liked this video a lot better, where I just make a short video, talk about the gematria of facts, and I don't talk about how my life is synced up to it and how I have these synchronicities that are involved with it. And the reason I didn't talk about that with this David Ortiz story is because I don't have any synchronicities with this story as far as I know of. I have synchronicities every single day, and think about how many times I have talked about these synchronicities and these weird things that go on in my life, and then that same topic comes up within the mainstream media. The synchronicities are absolutely important, and I feel like if I don't talk about them, I'm cheating people out of, the real truth of this world. I'm not here to make every single video and say that the Freemasons and, you know, the Illuminati and whatever else, certain groups of people that are behind everything. Do I believe that they manipulate the mass, the mind of the masses by scripting media stories on a daily basis? Absolutely. They are using this knowledge that exists all around us to, keep some type of control over the rest of the world. But that does not mean that, these synchronicity things and whatever else aren't important to how this all works. And we need to figure out how we can apply this knowledge, and we need to figure out more of the real purpose of what is going on in this world before we can, create a harmony in the world. If that's what the main goal is, to create a better world, create a world where we're not ruled over by people who understand the way that the world works. We really need to find the source of the whole purpose of the way the world is working this way. Why is the world working this way? Do we need to rid the world of this system completely, or do we just need to, get better people in the world who will control the world in a more harmonious way, if that makes sense? We right now we have people who are using it to their advantage, and they're disadvantaging, you know, way more people than need to be disadvantaged. That's the way I see the world right now. And we're never going to have a utopia. We're never going to have a perfect world. And that's what Hermeticism is really about when you think about it. Because there's no point to live if there's not problems within your life. But, the majority of people don't need to have problems, why only a select few have this, awesome life that is going on. We need to keep it more balanced in order to, create this better world. But a better world doesn't mean a perfect world, because really, what is the point to live if you are never going to have any mistakes to learn from, and you're never going to have any reason to advance? You're never going to, if everything's just so perfect, there's no point in even trying to, become better. So that's why I talk about these synchronicities, because they're super important to the way that this knowledge works. And I just truly feel like if I don't mention these synchronicities and how I discover the majority of the things that I'm even talking about, it's all through synchronicity. If I don't talk about it, then I'm just a liar. You know what I mean? I'm not telling people the whole truth of what is going on in this world. And that doesn't mean that there aren't people who use this knowledge to, have an advantage over the rest of the world, but, it does exist all around us. I've proven this so many times, it's not even funny, by these synchronicity things and how my life is synced up to the mainstream media and so on. And really, what good is it going to do? We could go and kill all of the people who are using this knowledge over us, but then what? The world's still going to work this way. So we have to know how to apply this knowledge, and we need to know, you know, what is the true purpose of it, of the world working this way? And do we need to get rid of this system? Or is there something more that we're just not ready to understand yet in regards to it? Right? So I can make videos all day, just like this David Ortiz video. I can make videos all day that way. Short videos, straight to the point. Saw the helicopter crash in New York the other day, and the first thing I thought was, I already knew that helicopter equaled 100 or 111 because I had just recently covered a bunch of stuff about Donald Trump and the helicopter, and New York equals 111 just like helicopter, and so on. New York City equals 57 just like helicopter. I mean, I could make all of these videos all day long. I mean, it's not really that difficult to make like a 3-minute video, but I've truly been doing that for a really long time. I have tons of videos where I made shorter videos and so on. And the synchronicity things are just, it happens to me every single day. And I just feel like it's that much more important. I feel more of a connection to share these synchronicity things because not as many people are doing that, for one. And it is something that is absolutely important. And just think about like the band The Police. They have that song called Murder by Numbers that we often talk about. Murder by Numbers, but look what album it is on. The album is called Synchronicity, and there is a reason for that, right? Gematria and Murder by Numbers. It's all truly really important, but synchronicity is also a humongous part of it that I feel like it gets left out a lot of times. So, you know, once again, just wanted to point out that's why I cover these synchronicities. And moving along, so I get this. I'm just now realizing too that it's truth-seeking troll, which is funny because of my recent videos where I'm talking about this big troll theme and whatever. That's hilarious. I didn't even realize that, but it's funny. And I don't know. This person comments every now and then. I'm not calling them out or anything. I'm not even mad about it. I'm just trying to explain why I talk about what I talk about, right? But so I get this message though, and I'm listening to my David Ortiz video, and in the video, I explain why Francis Bacon gematria is important. Frank Baconis and Francis Bacon. And I look at my phone and I see I have this notification with this message on it. And right at the same time I'm reading that message, I start talking about Francis Bacon gematria in this video. And then I hear the TV say Francis Bacon skin. And, I had just came out to the other room. I was in this bedroom that I'm in right now. And my daughter sleeps on the couch most of the time. And she must have fell asleep watching SpongeBob. And, what are the odds I'm talking about Francis Bacon in my video, and then I hear Francis Bacon skin on this SpongeBob episode, right after at the same time I'm reading this message about how I shouldn't talk about these synchronicities. I get a synchronicity within my life, right? It's just hilarious, right? And I've recently talked a lot about the pig year and this pig theme and so on. And it made me wonder, like Francis Bacon skin, and then thinking about football, they call it the pig skin. So then I wrote a big old thing about, trying to explain it, maybe I could have worded it better or whatever, but it's just trying to explain the synchronicity stuff. So I have synchronicity with SpongeBob, and I go to bed, whatever, and I wake up because my son is crying earlier this morning, and I have to get up to get my son and whatnot. I can't sleep anymore. And I look at my phone and I have a notification on my phone, another comment. Let me find it here. I have this other comment on the David Ortiz video, and he says, or I don't know if it's a he or she, but Dominicans aren't black though, or whatever, right? And I'm thinking, you know, funny, my son's crying right now too. What in the world? I shit you not, my son just started crying. Like, you gotta be kidding me. But he stopped, so we'll see how long. Oh, oh my God. Hold on a second. I gotta go get my son. All right, I'm back. He's good now, but what in the world? That's, well, once again, synchronicity at its finest, dude. That's what I'm talking about. I can't even prove it because you guys probably can't even hear them crying or whatever, but ridiculous. It's just, but anyway, let's move on here. I want to look it up though. I'll look it up after I do this video, but anyway, so this person comments this morning, right? I wake up because my son's crying. I got to get my son. And he says Dominicans aren't black because in the video I said how uh, you know, he got shot 5 months and 9 days after his birthday, and 59 is this big number around black people and slaves and so on. And I looked. I don't know if David Ortiz has African, if he's has descendants from Africa or not. But I mean, in regards to the United States, everyone would consider this guy black, right? You know what I mean? I see what they're saying, but I mean, it, by the American standards, by what people call a black person, David Ortiz is absolutely black. And just because he's Dominican Republican, or, he's from the Dominican Republic, doesn't mean that he can't be, part African or whatever else. I'm sure there's white people that live there and so on, right? So it's not even really that big of a deal. I'm just pointing out that, you know, his skin color is what is considered black. And, it's synced up the exact same way, just like it would sync up, with a guy like Martin Luther King Jr. or something, or Rodney King or so on. So obviously that is important to the scripting that is going on. So just wanted to point that out. I somewhat agree, but, he looks like a black guy. So, and I found a bunch of things that said he's an Afro-Latino, which would hint that he has some African heritage, but, he actually isn't from Africa or whatever, Maybe his ancestors or he's mixed with some type of African and Latino, right? But I don't know. I couldn't find a complete awesome source that said that. But anyway, I thought it was interesting just seeing this because, last night I talked about Francis Bacon's skin and I mentioned pig skin and, think about it. We're talking about skin color and I started thinking about David Ortiz and then I was thinking about the area that he kind of lives in. And for whatever reason, Rihanna just came into my brain, right? Rihanna, she's from Barbados, which is down in that similar area. And it just made me wonder if she was possibly, if she wasn't black or something, wasn't considered black. So I looked up Rihanna and uh, on Wikipedia, and I was sitting there this morning. We were watching cartoons, whatever. I just looked up Rihanna, and I just wondered, if she was black or not, if she was considered black. And then I went to CNN, and I'm not even kidding you, CNN was running an article about how Rihanna doesn't sleep like the rest of us. And what they're referring to is that Rihanna is a mom now, and she doesn't get a sleep just like the rest of the world, because when her kid wakes up, she has to, wake up with her kid, and she has to sleep in spurts to get sleep, So just like what I was talking about when I woke up because my son was crying, and then I think about Rihanna. Of course, the mainstream media is running a story about Rihanna not sleeping because of her kid, just like how I woke up this morning and thought about Rihanna. And I was like, well, all right, there's got to be something important to this, right? And I typed in Rihanna on the Gematrinator, and in Satanic Gematria, she equals 310. And what number have I been talking about like crazy, for my last how many videos? 310. A super important number for whatever the reason. I mean, there's a ton of different syncs to it, especially synced up to August 10th and 11th and so on, synced up to Osama bin Laden, synced up to, you know, Al Qaeda, synced up to the Haile Selassie and the lion theme that's going on. Even more so synced up to the troll theme that I've been talking about. Think about how that person, uh, this all synchronicity thing just happened because of that person that had truth seeking troll, right? All about number 310, and now Rihanna equals 310, you know? It's what synchronicity is all about. It is showing you something. And sometimes I can't figure it out for, it might be 6 months or more, and then all of a sudden I'll look back on this, and thankfully I documented about it, and it'll make a lot more sense. And that happened to me today, just showing you. There was this random story I saw on Facebook about this Villisca axe murders that happened in Iowa, in Villisca, Iowa, in 1912, and apparently it happened on June 11th, so that's why this story was on there. But back in August, last August, I was talking about this Moor theme that was connected to some type of ghost theme, and this guy added me on Facebook that owns the Malvern Manor, and I got it mixed up with the Villisca axe murder house. And, you know, when I looked at this story, it says that the people that got murdered, it was the Moore family. So, I mean, this story just makes that much more sense now. It was the Moore family. I got that other story mixed up when this Moore symbolism was connected to some ghost theme and whatnot. And this axe murder house supposedly haunted and so on. So, just learned a little bit more, and thankfully I documented about that, something I documented about back in August. So then I just looked in more into Rihanna. And I remember from before I really truly understood gematria, I knew that Rihanna was important to the number 88 and the number 8. And I documented all kinds of stuff because she's from Barbados, where the flag is the trident. And, Neptune has the trident. Neptune's the 8th planet. There was all kinds of stuff with it. Rihanna was born in the year 88. And, oh, I can't even remember it all. Tons of 88 and 8 stuff. And now looking at the gematria in reverse, I see that her name even equals 88, which is hilarious. She's even from the parish of St. Michael, which is 8, in alphabetic order. It is the 8th of 11 of the parishes that exist on Barbados. And then back then I talked about how 8 times 11 is also 88 and so on. But think about how we've been talking about 8/11 in connection to this year as well, August 11th. So I was like, interesting. And there was a bunch of other stuff. Her song Diamonds, where's Diamonds in the Sky, the whole song is connected to Neptune. Neptune was the lover or the tamer of horses, and he's also the god of the sea and the god of earthquakes, which is important. But in her video where she's like, shine bright like a diamond, it all has to do with this horse who dies and she brings it back to life and so on, right? And apparently it supposedly rains diamonds on Neptune as well. So I knew there was something important to Neptune and Rihanna from way back when. And I pointed out recently, or within the past couple years, that Neptune equals 95, and the guy who founded Neptune. I can't think of what his name is, but his name equals 95. And I also put out that my name, Dan Barrett, equals 95, and my full name, Daniel Edward Barrett, equals 95. So, and for whatever the reason, for years, I've always wanted to name one of my kids Neptune, and I can't tell you why. It's just like I always wanted to name it after a planet or something different than most people do. That's why we have Zamian, who is my son, because we wanted something creative and something that, nobody else had, and it just kind of came to us one day, and that's why we named him that. It had nothing to do with gematria. I didn't want to name him by gematria. Wanted to let it happen naturally, and it did, and we ended up naming him Zamian. So, I mean, maybe there's people who are named Neptune, but I've never met anyone who's named Neptune. Just something that always drew me in for some weird reason. And I used to talk about how it's connected to the number 8, and my whole life it's all about the number 8 for whatever the reason. Like I'm the 8th grandchild on my dad's side, and my mom's the 8th kid, and we moved into our house that my parents still live in when I was 8 years old, and all kinds of stuff with the number 8. Even my name equals 176, which is 88 plus 88, and so on. I had all these 8 connections from years ago. I knew gematria was important back then when I learned that HH for Heil Hitler stood for 88, and that's why neo-Nazis got 88 tattooed on them. But I didn't realize the significance of how gematria was done within the mainstream media and so on. I saw it in movies and some other things, but I didn't fully grasp like writing out somebody's name or coding it into a news story, and then I found Zach's channel, and then I was like, oh, this is so awesome, because it just makes that much more sense. That's why it was so easy to pick up, because I was already like right on the tail of it. But anyway, Neptune being the god of the sea as well, and water, and not that long ago I was talking about water being important. There's something important to water symbolism. Talked about it in 2017 as well, and it was really synced up to all that Stand By Me stuff that was important to Halloween, and Halloween is my favorite holiday, and Halloween just so happens to equal 95, and so does Sirius. Sirius equals 95, which is important to a lot of, this knowledge and what is going on with it. So, I'm not quite for sure, but just wanted to point out there's something to do with water. It's interesting too. I was even a lifeguard for like 10 years of my life, and I'm a Scorpio, which is also a water sign. When I worked at the YMCA when I lived in Arizona, every person that was a lifeguard there was a water sign, So back then I thought that's pretty interesting, all of us are water signs and we're all lifeguards and so on. Possibly nothing, but just it interested me way back when. So started think about water too with SpongeBob, right? How this happened with SpongeBob. SpongeBob, he's in the water, and they're even scared of Neptune and so on. Neptune's in the first SpongeBob movie, and Neptune plays a big part in some of the SpongeBob episodes that I've even saw. Also, when you look up Rihanna, I knew that she had some type of relationship with Drake. I remember Chris Brown and Drake. And think about Drake and the Toronto Raptors stuff. They're in the NBA Finals right now. They're important to the date of August 11th, right? Because of SummerSlam being held in Toronto and so on. But when I looked this up, it also talked about how she briefly dated Travis Scott in 2015. Well, Travis Scott just so happens to be the guy who SpongeBob introduced in the Super Bowl this year. Let me find it here. Remember SpongeBob did the trumpets thing and whatnot? Let me see if I can find it here. This guy right here, Travis Scott. So when SpongeBob came out, SpongeBob did the whole trumpet thing, and then this guy came out on stage right after that. This guy's real name, it equals 95, and the Super Bowl is 9 months and 5 days after his birthday. And SpongeBob also equals 95, right? So there's something important to that number, 95, that is going on with this synchronicity, and I don't fully have it figured out, but maybe I'll figure it out in a few months. But I wanted to make this video and talk about the synchronicity, why it's important, and then I can even reference this video, in the future, and it might make more sense. So Rihanna has a song called Skin, even, I found, right? A song called Skin. So think about that. Skin color, pig skin, bacon skin. See how it all forms together? I know her birthday is also 3 months and 10 days after my birthday. Her name equals 310. Her birthday's 3 months, 10 days after my birthday, which is also the mirror day. This is the day that leaves 314 days in the year, and it's the 51st day. And my birthday is the 314th day that leaves 51 days in the year. So 3 months and 10 days apart, even. I pointed out that if you add out 95, it equals 141, which the 141st prime number is 811. I also know that Neptune is important to some of the things that I've been talking about recently. And the Super Bowl was really coded to 9/11. I'll try to find my videos and leave them in the description, but the Super Bowl had a lot of connections to 9/11, and it was really synced up to Nebraska, which is interesting, because after 9/11, George Bush, he came to Offutt Air Force Base, which is in the Omaha area, and his vice president, Dick Cheney, is from Lincoln, Nebraska, where the Cornhuskers play. And if you remember, both teams made the Super Bowl because of a Nebraska Cornhusker, Rex Burkhead, and also, what was it, Greg Zerline, or however you say his name. And there was a bunch of Nebraska Cornhusker stuff that was going on with it. And it was synced up to 9/11. And Osama bin Laden, he became the leader of Al Qaeda on August 11th. And they list his death as May 2nd on Wikipedia, but I remember that they told us on May 1st in the United States that they supposedly killed Osama bin Laden. And remember what they did with Osama bin Laden? They buried him at sea, right? Think about Neptune once again, the god of the sea. Also, the operation that killed Osama bin Laden was called Operation Neptune Spear, right? Neptune Spear. And in regards to Omaha and Nebraska being important, the Normandy landings that were just really important on 6/6, the 75th anniversary, that was codenamed Operation Neptune. And the reason it's interesting is because originally D-Day was supposed to happen on May 1st, which is the same day that Osama bin Laden was killed, right? The same day the Illuminati was founded, which is also 3 months and 10 days before August 11th or August 10th, depending on the actual day you consider Osama bin Laden dying. Osama bin Laden's birthday is March 10th, 310. So I'm pretty sure that's what this Neptune stuff is all about. And think about the Normandy landings, right? It's all about the beach and the water. Osama bin Laden gets buried by water. It caused a big old deal. Why would they do that anyway? Why why would they kill Osama bin Laden and then not just bring him back and prove to the world? Even if they did prove it, they're gonna show a fake body anyway, right? But I mean, still, it just seems fishy. No pun intended, but they dump him in the water just after killing him, and they don't even examine the body or anything really. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? 512, like I've said, the Illuminati, that's 3 months and 10 days before August 10th or August 11th, depending on the end date. And Adam Weishaupt's name, Adam Johann Weishaupt, or Johann Adam Weishaupt equals 310 in Gematria. So it's important that Rihanna equals 310. Also, if you're at World War III, that equals 141. You know, once again, connecting to 811. 811 is 66 days after 6/6, which was the day that D-Day fell on, right? And if you read out World War II, it equals 66, and D-Day happened during World War II. 66 has been a pretty important number recently. I don't fully grasp the meaning of it, but it has been a pretty important number. We got this pointless story about pigs today in the mainstream media, too. 2 therapy pigs beaten to death in Kentucky. And, like, I mean, there's really no substance to the story, but it's interesting how much I've been talking about the pig year being important to August 10th and August 11th this year. And these pigs were supposedly killed on 6/6, right? June 6th, pigs equals 33, therapy equals 33. If you read out 33, it equals 66. The person who owned them, their name equals 157, 6/6, the 157th day of the year. We're getting the story on 6/11. 6 times 11, 66. And that's why I know that 8 times 11 stuff is important. So I wondered about the skin stuff too, because, think about pigment, so let's go back up here really quick. In 2015, I had this video where I talk about World War III possibly starting on August 12th because of that's the day that leaves 141 days in the year and a bunch of other things. But in the mix of all that, I discovered the Major League Baseball strike was on August 12th a long time ago. And then I pointed out that it was synced up to Michael Jordan playing baseball. And it was a bunch of stuff with it. I don't want to re-explain it. But, he even played baseball for the Birmingham Barons. And the coach was Terry Francona, who was the coach who broke the curse of the Bambino for the Boston Red Sox. He's the current coach of the Cleveland Indians, who are cursed by Rocky Colavito, whose birthday is August 10th this year, or every year it's August 10th. But when I was looking through this, it talked about this Major League Baseball strike lasting for 232 days, which was the longest stoppage or whatever, until it got surpassed by the NHL lockout that ran for 310 days in 2004, 2005. 310 days. Michael Jordan retired from baseball on 310 as well. And remember all that Teen Wolf stuff that was connected to Nebraska is connected to Zach Levine, whose birthday is also on 310, the same day as Osama bin Laden's. So, we'll leave the video there. Just want to explain some stuff, show these synchronicities. I even had a synchronicity while making this video, with my son crying. I just wanted to look up what the word crying was in Gematria. Crying. We'll pull up all the ciphers here. Actually, let's do it on this. Crying. I don't know for sure. Let's just cry. Well, that's interesting. Zamian equals the same as crying. 32. I don't know. I'll bore you by keeping looking this up, but I feel like there's got to be something important to it. I'm trying to think. I know my son's really important to that bridge symbolism. His birthday, January 17th. And there was all kinds of bridge symbolism. And so it was connected to Philadelphia, Tony Danza. I do not know. I'll think more about it, but you know, and once again, like think of my son was born on January 17th, 117, and our daughter Claire was born 117 days before my girlfriend's birthday, and her name equals 117. Right? That's why I think that she's pregnant right now, and she's due on September 14th. And I wonder if the baby's going to come on 9/5 because that's the day that leaves 117 days in the year, right? And then how fitting it would fit to me, and it would also fit to her, but I don't know for sure. And actually, I'll mention that really quick because I'm going to make a long video anyway. We went to the casino the other night, and I actually won $855. I hit a jet. I've never won that much in my entire life, and I kept seeing the number 210 the whole time we were there, and I didn't know what it was. Kept seeing this number 210 like crazy. Then I ended up hitting $855, and I ended up cashing out. She made me cash out with $914, and that's just what I had spun it one more time on accident, and that's what it ended up being was $914, and we just decided to leave, while your head don't waste it all, and I went and cashed it out, and then on the way home I was thinking 914. That's funny. That's the day that the baby's born. That's the due date for the baby. And I told her that, and she's just like, whatever, blah, 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 And I knew there was some important the number 210, and I kept seeing it all night at the casino. And got home and I looked up the date, or looked it up, just saw it be 210 days after my birthday. And then I hit this jackpot at the casino. The casino, located on 210th Street, even. It's like, what are the odds, right? 210th Street, and I just typed in 210 up here in my blog to see if there was more to do with 210. And the first post that comes up, well, it doesn't now because this is the post that I'm talking about, but look at the first post that comes up. If I could find it. The first post that comes up is a post about uh, Neil Young's ex-wife and the upcoming harvest moon, right? And you know when the harvest moon is? The upcoming harvest moon just so happens to be on September 14th, 914. So it's like, what are the odds that the first post that comes up when I type in 210 is a post about the date of 914 and the harvest moon, right? And then I win $914 because I kept seeing the number 210. I mean, it's telling me something, right? So I did mention a bunch of 117 in this story as well. Synced up to Francis Scott Key, who wrote the national anthem that day. It'll be the 205th anniversary. Philadelphia equals 205. That's why it's important to Neil Young, who wrote the song Philadelphia for the movie Philadelphia. The word moon equals 210. There's something super important to it. September 14th this year. Even Zach's supposed to be in Philadelphia on the same time for Anarchdelphia. All kinds of stuff. So I'm going to skip over it because I know I've talked about it before. But in regards to all that and how it's synced up to Francis Scott Key and standing during the national anthem, I recently was documenting about some of that stuff because of Charles Manson and the Manson lady in the media. And we got another story about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Christy Swanson. And this time it was about a teacher not standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Reminding us of not standing for the flag, not, and the national anthem stuff and kneeling and whatever else. And it's because of Buffy. I noticed her husband is from Canada. He's a figure skater from Canada, which has been important to a lot of what I've been talking about. So, yeah, just wanted to point that out, I guess. Canada's made up of 3 territories and 10 provinces. That's what I'm gonna watch this movie now when I'm done with this. But she's in this movie called Deadly Friend. I guess that was her first starring role, and it's a Wes Craven movie. And if you followed what I've been talking about with her, there's something important to Slipknot and Freddie Gray and Freddy Krueger and Kanye West and so on. So, and it was singing to, yeah, Freddy Krueger. And this is Wes Craven's movie, so there's got to be something important to it. But we'll leave the video there. I'm sorry for rambling, but, you know, it's the way this works. So, synchronicities truly are important. I'm not going to stop talking about them just because, anybody wants me to stop talking about them, because I'm not going to. I want people to know the real truth, the whole truth, of what I'm talking about. I don't want people to just assume that everything that is going on is because of the Freemasons and the Jews and whatever else. And I'm not even saying that as a bad thing to Zach or anything. I'm just saying, in general, there's more to what is going on, and that's what I'm trying to show. And, I'm just, whatever. Have a good one. Peace.